the basketball segment. My name is Nadia Adewale. This is the football segment of the show. We'll be doing a preview of the Champions League and a review of the games across Europe. Quickly, Kachi, let's
Yeah.
start with the Champions League. It's going to be Arsenal versus Real Madrid. I can't stop laughing. I'm so teary right now. Arsenal versus Real Madrid at the
Yes.
Emirates Stadium. Real Madrid, they are the landlord of the Champions League. I'm expecting a sensational game. Luckily for Arsenal, Bukayo Saka is back,
Yeah.
and unfortunately for them, Gabriel, their best defender, is out. So it's more like garbage in, garbage out for Arsenal throughout the season. But at least now they have someone that can actually help them fashion out something in terms of goal scoring, probably a little bit of creativity, depending on what Mikel Arteta decides to do. I don't agree with the way he's playing with Trossard through the middle instead of on the left hand side. I believe the left hand side and Martinelli through the middle. But that being said, it gives them a little bit of should I say blocker in terms of the approach to the game. Ben White is back, who could potentially pair the erratic Saliba in the center of the defense as well. And when you go over to Real Madrid unarguably have the best front three, maybe bar PSG and Barcelona in the Champions League right now. It's arguable, whichever way you want to argue it. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. But with those front three, Andrew Bellingham right behind them, Valverde and maybe it's Tchouaméni or Camavinga or Luka Modric in the middle of the park. They look prime to destroy Arsenal, except for their own defensive woes as well. So it looks like on a scale of preference, I'll still give Real Madrid a 60% chance, Arsenal a 40% chance, even though the game is happening at the Emirates. That's my thought, but I need your own thoughts on that.
Debo, over the course of two legs, I will give Real Madrid a slight 51% chance and Arsenal 49%. That is how close.
Yeah, the mood for hot takes.
That is how close I think this tie really would be. Real Madrid, as invincible as they've been in the Champions League, especially right now, look like they have a very soft underbelly. So say all you will about the front three and the marauding central midfielders in Valverde and Jude Bellingham. That team, even on their best days, does not know how to keep a clean sheet. I think that should pose great confidence for Arsenal. I'm going to say the same thing I said 2-3 seasons ago when PSG was going to visit St. James Park, and I said Newcastle just has to play Premier League style football for only 10 minutes and they will get the goals they need to rattle PSG. The same has to apply here. They have to play you know how it is when a Premier League team is looking for an equalizer in the last 5 minutes of a home game. They throw the kitchen sink at you. Your team experienced it in the hands of Everton over the weekend. So you already know what I'm saying. Now, what are the chances? There are probably a higher chance of Arsenal scoring multiple goals than there is of Real Madrid keeping a clean sheet. If you're a neutral, this is the game, and you're a betting person, this is the kind of game you bet definitely more than 2 goals for each leg. I think the goals will flow. Arteta does not know how to be cautious. I think Arsenal wins the home leg, but they won't have enough cushion. That's my fear. That for every good football that Man City played, they just couldn't create enough gap. I'm talking of the year that Madrid defeated them and went on to win the league. For all the great football that City were playing, they couldn't create enough gap to separate themselves or give themselves that cushion. It came back to haunt them at the Bernabeu. I think the same happens here. Arsenal wins. You might see a 3-2 or 4-3 or 2-1 kind of score line, but it will be a 1-goal cushion, my expectation. But that 1-goal cushion would not set them properly for the next leg. We are not sure if Courtois is going to play. It looks like he will be. David Alaba right now is a shadow of himself. So I do think on the night Arsenal wins it, whether it will be enough remains to be seen.
All right, perfect. And another interesting one with Bayern Munich versus Inter Milan. Inter
Mm-hmm.
are fine on all cylinders. They
Yeah.
don't play the best football, but just like Liverpool this season, they are very efficient, and they've been efficient for the past maybe
4
4 5 years.
years,
Maybe
four,
for
five
five
years.
years. They've been
Yes, yes.
very efficient. They are not playing any genge football. They
Mm-hmm.
don't have a style of play like, oh, I'm doing genge pressing or I'm
Mm-hmm.
playing tiki taka. It's just a mixture of all pragmatic football. Let me put it that
Yes,
way, pragmatic
yes,
football.
yes.
And Bayern Munich, I was not expecting them at this stage. I thought they were going to go out against Leverkusen, but they did come out on schedule against Leverkusen. So I would bet so much against them. First leg is going to be happening at the Hollywood
Alias,
FC Alliance Arena
yeah.
against Inter. I see a draw personally. What do you see?
I see a Bayern win, but I don't think Bayern is going to blow Inter out of the park as well. Um, Unlike the first game we just analyzed, this will be probably cagier because Inter will come in and play the Catenaccio brand of football, rely heavily on the counter attack. I think the best way to describe Inter Milan right now is they have been molded in the image of not Simeone Inzaghi, but Filippo Inzaghi,
Mm,
where they make the most of their chances. You don't see anything eye popping. Ask me what Filippo Inzaghi does very well. The only
scoring
thing
goals.
is he scores goals. You can't say he has great one-on-one skill. You can't
Yeah,
say he dribbles well.
yeah,
You can't say all that about him, but you know that when you need him to be there to put the ball behind the net, he's
yeah.
going to be there. So
Uh-huh.
that Inter will set themselves up right now to leave Germany with at least a draw, knowing that they only need one goal at the San Siro to probably
To
get
probably
to
go
the
through.
semifinals. I do think I'll take I'll take I do think it either ends in a draw or a shock Inter Milan away win.
Okay, that's not another thing. I don't know. I don't really rate Vincent Company. He has so much to prove to me, and honestly, that's just my own opinion. So,
He's been
yeah,
great. He's been great.
it is. I don't. I won't use the word great. He has been okay. He has the best. He has the best in Germany. If he can't do it, then
Wow.
we should go out. Ah,
Just to put this out there before we continue, the LA Lakers were able to hold the OKC to less than 100 points playing in Oklahoma. That is
can you
food
imagine?
for thought
I
for
was just looking
everybody.
at. I was just looking at it. Bronny is playing. I'm like, okay. The game is really over for Bronny
Yes,
them to come in.
yes, yes.
Barcelona versus Dortmund.
Mm,
Barcelona, that front three is they're amazing.
yeah.
The front three is amazing. So I hopefully I don't see anything coming out of this one. Barca to go through.
Me,
All
me,
things being equal, I think they
offense
will go
very,
through.
very equal. I don't think we need to dwell too much on this. Not only is Barcelona as a team playing lights out right now, the draw has also been heavily favorable to them.
Yeah.
That they may not even face a
To the
tough
final, yeah.
opposition until they get to the final of the Champions League. So uh, anything other than a clear-cut home and away victory for Barcelona here
It's a failure.
is a shock. It's a shock. It's a shock, and it's something we'll dwell on. Dortmund, the most inconsistent team, although they have set themselves up properly with a 4-1 away win this weekend.
Yeah.
Will that be enough to get them set for the
Camp
juggernaut
Nou.
that is Barcelona? I
Yeah.
totally do not think so.
I don't think so. But an interesting one will be PSG versus Villa. Emery going back to France against his old employer,
Yes.
and PSG looks amazing.
Mhm.
Villa looks crazy as well. You
Mhm.
know, they don't have the best players, but they have a couple of efficient players. Talking
Mhm.
about players like Rogers, Rashford seems to be at his best right now, or gradual best,
Mhm.
being back to his best. Asensio. I don't know if he will be able to play against PSG. But Asensio, if he's playing, will be a good one as well.
Yeah, he should
They
be
still
able
have
to
the
play.
Ole Watkins, Yuri Stelliman, and Onana, and the rest of the group. for that. But I think PSG might just be too much for Villa at home.
Absolutely. Let's look carefully at what Villa has done. They played some decent teams in the group phase, but everybody had almost 10 games or so
Yeah,
in the group phase. They kind of slipped through. Then they got the round of 16. They got a Club Brugge team
yeah.
that, you know, getting to that round of 16 was already an amazing result for Club
What
Brugge
the-
because we all know them to be the whipping boys in the
Yeah,
old UCL
UCL
format.
format.
So
Yeah,
this format, I think, favored the likes of Bruges,
yeah.
uh, Lille
Lille,
FC,
yeah, yeah,
Villa. It
yeah.
made us see them in
Brest.
another light. But I think this is where the chicken comes home to roost. PSG secured their league uh, for I think eighth or ninth consecutive time. I can't remember now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So they are
Go ahead.
running and they are running on all cylinders right now. I think this is one bridge too far. Let's put it this way: if this was being played at Villa Park first,
Yeah.
then I would say, okay, Aston Villa, nothing to lose, go out with a 2-1 win or 3-1 win, and then go play the the most British style of football.
Football.
But it's going to be at the Parc des Princes. I don't think we saw how they made Liverpool look like amateur ballers, even though Liverpool got a win in that round of 16, but
Yeah,
we knew it was they just got the rub of the green.
yeah,
But they were
yeah,
played out of the park.
yeah,
Parc des
yeah.
Princes is going to be bubbling. I think the atmosphere will be too much for Aston Villa. They may just come back to Villa Park with a 3-goal deficit.
Oh wow. Oh wow. 33. Oh wow. Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. This guy with the hot taste. What did he eat for breakfast today?
Hey, I had spicy noodles, man. So
Spicy nuts. Okay. 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 Now I understand. You have all the hot takes today. I'm going to be writing them down anyways. Lakers versus Cavs. Um, 3-0 Villa going down at
I didn't say
PSG.
3-0, but definitely a 3-goal deficit.
Okay.
4-1, 5-2, it
Five
doesn't
two,
matter.
okay.
3-0,
Three
it does
zero,
not matter.
three.
Yeah.
Okay, 3 goal deficit.
Yes.
So my friend reached out to me today. I'm like, oh, Debo, are you going to do an analysis about the Manchester United Manchester City
Oh.
game? I'm like, okay, I will, and I'll be sending it to you. So on that note, I want to start from the game. The most boring derby between United and City that I've seen, maybe the past 10 years,
Yes.
honestly, and I don't really want to focus about the 14th team. 14th in my own books are not serious yet, right? We're talking about a treble winner, maybe the last couple of three seasons. The last 3 seasons, they've won the league back to back, 6 out of 7.
Mhm.
Pep Guardiola, in my opinion, the best coach in the history of football, and whatnot. But I think we are not paying attention to the kind of problem they have in that club. We are not paying attention.
Mm.
And maybe, just maybe, when Rodri comes, everything he has a magic wand that will make them look like a serious team. Because right now they're not a serious team. No fear factor, no X factor, no, they are directionless. And you look at City, you're like, is this the same City? If not because United is a useless team, and I'm sorry to use that word, if not because United is not good enough, they should be beating City
They
today
should
at
have
least
wrapped. They should
by
have wrapped up
4
the game.
goals.
Yes, they
By
should wrap up the
4,
game.
don't let me exaggerate, by 2 to 4 goals. But City is looking like a shadow of themselves. I'm like, I just want your opinion about that quickly before you go catch it, because I know you have to leave very soon.
Debo, it's very, very hard. It's almost like you're making me pull out my teeth to talk about this game. This was by far one of the worst Manchester derby I've seen since I started watching the EPL. Analysis shows that this was the worst derby in the last 30 years. This is the first time that in about 29 to 30 years that potentially the two Manchester-based teams, one of them at least will not finish in the top 4 of the English top flight. The build up to the game itself was totally negligible. That is to show you how far both teams had fallen. And what made it even worse was Terrible build up, even more terrible display from both sides. It looked like they were both happy to live with a draw. They were, for the first time, I can say this about a City team, they were afraid to make a mistake rather than even try to go win a match. I can't believe I'm saying that about a Pep Guardiola-led team. So many things happen, but it makes me, I need to be honest. The only thing that is giving Manchester City a benefit of the doubt is what they've done in the last 7 years, right? And the only thing that is making Manchester United get more of the stick is this is par for the course in the last 4 or 5 years. They actually haven't risen to the occasion.
For like 14
Right?
years.
Yeah, let's say since Alex Ferguson left, they haven't risen to the occasion, but at least we still saw some fights in there. Now, United remains in Europe and they still have the opportunity to win a trophy.
Exactly.
We have to, but you begin to ask yourself, what is happening to football when the two juggernauts, because no matter how bad Real Madrid plays, no matter how terrible Barcelona plays, you will not see them when it comes to a Clasico game put up this type of performance. Real Madrid would rather lose 6-0 trying to win that game than to play uber defensive. So this was a game that I can't even begin to tell you, oh, this is who the single light at the end of the tunnel. Then right now it looks like the bulb, the light switch, everything, the torchlight, everything has been taken. Now City looks like, okay, we have figured out what our issue is. We are now trying to buy to ameliorate our problem. They have decided to let Kevin De Bruyne go. We don't know who else will go, but they are bringing in people. We've seen Mamouche coming. We've seen them now identify Florian Wirtz as somebody they want to bring in to shore up their attacking line. But you look at United and you ask yourself, Højlund looks like, I don't know. Anthony is better than Højlund right now.
Yeah, of course. Everybody they know that apart from Sancho is better than what they have right now.
It's very disappointing that this season, and it's tough for me because at least for your own team, you're still in the Champions League. If you had won yesterday against Everton, coupled with what happened to Liverpool this weekend, you might have a slight glimmer of hope. My team has no hope. We're out of Europe. We're not going to qualify next year. So I'm probably a troll. I'm very biased. But I have to say this United team makes AC Milan look like prime Barcelona right now. And it's embarrassing to say. There is no fight. They were happy to kick around. It reminds me of the game Germany, I can't remember, in the World Cup in 1982, when Germany and another team they needed a draw to make sure Algeria did not qualify. No, they didn't want Algeria to qualify. And they kicked about this football for 90 minutes to the chagrin of all the fans there, simply because you don't want certain things. But at least those ones had an objective. These two teams, let me just put it in one sentence. This game this weekend was an embarrassing advertisement for football.
Yeah, it is, and embarrassing indeed it was. And of course, we look quickly go through Premier League fixtures that happen across results across the league. Everton played a 1-1 draw against Arsenal in the controversial circumstances with that penalty that is not existing that was given to Everton. And I was looking at a tweet from one of the United, I've forgotten his name, good whatever. I was like, Arsenal has dropped more points to all these ludicrous decision making across the league this season, and it's really something that I don't want to talk about, because when you talk about it, like, oh, you're an Arsenal fan, that's why I'm making them so much out of it. But I strongly feel the officiating in England should improve. They should come back to Africa and learn from those guys that officiated at the last African Nations Cup and see how VAR and officiating is done correctly. Palace defeated Brighton and Hove 2-1. Wolverhampton Wanderers, they look to be on the upward trajectory right now. Defeated Ipswich Town 2-1. Of course, West Ham played a 2-2 draw against Bournemouth. Aston Villa defeated Forest 2-1. Chelsea played a 0-0 draw today, and Tottenham also, I believe, they won as well 2-0. Real Madrid are going into the Champions League after losing against Valencia. Valencia defeated them 2-1 at home at the Santiago Bernabeu, and Real Betis and Barcelona played a 1-1 draw in that particular quarter as well. And so a very interesting one in the Serie A will be AC Milan versus Fiorentina, and it is a pretty good game. It headed 2-2. They could potentially have lost at the time minute. I mean, AC Milan were lucky for that goal by Dodo, I believe, being ruled out for offside. But the question I really want to ask is, and I want to ask you as an AC Milan fan, as our own Serie A expert, is it about time that AC Milan do away with a couple of guys that you expect so much from them, but what they give back to you is so little? Why don't you just do away with those guys? I look at Moise Kean, for instance, at Fiorentina. He played very well. Like, I would rather have a Moise Kean, that would give me something week in, week out, rather than put my hope in Rafael Leao. I don't understand what Chukwueze is still doing in that team. You know, I look at a couple of players like that. I'm like, what are they really doing? Even Jovic that scored for you.
Excess load.
What's he doing in that team?
Excess load. Debo, I think out of all of these three people you mentioned, which is like a microcosm of what is happening in AC Milan right now, the only person that I might say, hey, he needs a man manager would be Rafael Leao, because the talent is there. For Chukwueze and Jovic, what I would say is, if they remain in the team at the start of preseason next year, and Milan goes to the US for their preseason tour, I guarantee you that they will be left behind. They will not return to Milan with that team. The Milan team right now, I think the issue started with the way and manner the club legend Maldini was let go. Since then, I'm not exactly sure. I think that team is being managed on the management side now, not on the coaching side. On the management side, where we don't have technocrats there. You hardly hear that somebody like Zlatan leaves and immediately you are bringing him in as a technical voice in the team. Typically, you use them as ambassadors, club ambassadors. Let them prove their worth, and then you put them into the technical side. He's not a Nedved. Zlatan doesn't look like someone who should be a technical person. He can be the face of the club. He should not be responsible for decision making when it comes to who to sign, who not to sign.
Who to let go.
Milan needs to release at least 6 players. Yes, thank you, Tammy Abraham. You are doing what you can, but you are a top 9. You are not. You need 5 chances to take 1 chance. It's too much. Jovic, you should not even return. Chukwueze should be loaned to Como. The problem with a club like Milan now, with no European football, and the fact that only playing in Europe brings eyes to you. You are not a Manchester United that even with no European football, you are still a bigger pool globally. Say what you will. Yes, I'm going to be very honest. There's a reason why Milan is like the 9th or 10th most popular club in the world. They are popular, but there are 9 other clubs that players dream of going to now before they settle for a Milan. Even Inter Milan is like 10th, 11th or something like that. Now, imagine not having European football to further spotlight your team. It becomes very difficult to attract players. And maybe that is what Milan needs right now, to look themselves in the mirror and say, you guys are not fit. Everything I'm saying about Manchester United applies to AC Milan. A lot of these guys are not fit to put on that black and red jersey and represent that club. How they will go about it remains to be seen. But one thing I will say, that they need to get it right first with the coach they are going to hire, and then the technical side. Hey, Zlatan cannot be the voice of the technical director.
All right, perfect. And on that note, I don't know, unless Kwachi has something else to say. On that note, the show is over for me. My name is Adi Adebo Ali. Until I see you again next week.